Welcome to the Easy Project. It's Eddie and my boy Zeb. Got a special guest here, one of the main guys, one of the best guys that we know, Bodene Thompson, bro. Welcome, brother.
Welcome. How are you, bro? Busy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that you got the cap, eh?
Yeah.
A nice cap on, bro.
Oh,
what?
It's going straight there, bro.
Guys,
Leave him alone.
Come on, bro. It's just... Hey! So a few of the boys, there was a few rumors saying that you look like Statham. Jason Statham, bro. There was quite a few Jason Stathams we met throughout this podcast. but you look amazing, bro. You look amazing. Welcome, brother.
Oh, man, straight into it. I love it. No, we always start with the flowers, bro. So bear with us here. We'll get through this nice and quick. Okay, Bodene Kaimoana Thompson, born in Tauranga, Bay of Plenty, New Zealand, with over 300 games under his belt in both the NRL and Super League. Bodene has left an indelible mark on the field. Also representing the New Zealand Māoris, his toughness isn't limited to rugby, having proven himself in the boxing ring as well. Off the field, Bodene is a building safety advisor for one of the biggest companies in Australia, Hutchinson Builders, and also juggles that with an NRL ambassador role with the NRL community, delivering programs in schools and to local community clubs around mental health. A devoted father to 5 beautiful children, Cordell, Hendricks, Blossom, Renius, and Billy, exemplifies, and loving partner to Kaea. Bodene exemplifies hard work, humility, and leadership, both as an athlete and as a role model. Welcome to the Easy Project, Bodene Kaimoana Thompson. Like that, bro? Nice and short, sharp.
Nice and sharp.
Let's
nice
go,
right
bro.
up, babe,
Let's get into it.
What's been happening?
Life after footy, it's been real busy. Working with Hutchinson Builders in the health and safety role, it's been something way left field of what I'm used to the last 15 years. It's been a task in its own. Trying to adapt and learning how to use a computer. I was just one tap at the start. Now I can use probably 3 or 4 of my fingers. Hutchies have been so good and supportive. Down at Tweed, they put me through every ticket under the sun. Currently just finishing off my Cert 4 in safety, and then I'll go on and do my diploma after that sometime in the start of next year.
Yeah.
It's just been good for my growth. I guess both of you guys know that, everyone should venture outside of their comfort zone to find something to grow in. And when that job got offered to me, I was like, man, why not? And then just threw myself into it in a sense. And they did too. They threw me into it. I think there's a mentality there too. It's sink or swim. So it's been good, challenging but good.
I remember having these chats with you because we do some of the NRL community stuff together. Bro, like just the stuff that you were telling me that you get up to, man, it does sound like full on. Is there any challenges with that? Like obviously, you said the first thing was a computer. What about your work environment? What's that like?
Yeah, so work environments, I just look at it. So when I come in, I said to the guys, obviously my passion is mental health, people, and looking out for people. But in saying that, safety has that element to it. Because on a construction site or wherever you may be, all I want is, if I looked at you two, I just say, okay, I just want you two to go home to your family. And I take the same approach on a construction site. If I'm saying something, I'll say that. It was, there's different challenges. There might be 200 guys on your site at one stage and on one day. And, you don't know what some guys are going through. You don't know what some girls are going through. So some days are different, and it's just how you approach them. It's just about being approachable too. Like sometimes I'll have to feel like I'm being the bad guy in a sense. But sometimes I've just got to drive that, because all I got to see through is if I'm getting a bad reaction out of someone. If I'm telling him, hey man, I don't think you should be doing that, it's not safe, and then he reacts bad, that's okay, because he might react bad, but I might have saved him falling off a live edge or something in a sense like that. it is. There's other things as well. I've played footy for 15 years. I haven't done safety for 50 years. So these guys have been doing their jobs for 50 or 30 years. And then I'm coming in telling them they can't do some stuff. So there's little challenges like that. But I'm very people orientated, and I'll try to get to know everyone before, I tell them on a personal level. I have this running joke too. I say to them, "You got kids, bro?" If they're doing something wrong, and they say, "Yeah, I got kids." I say, "Oh, nice. You like feeding your kids, eh?" And they say, "Yeah, why?" And I said, "Do you not want my kids to eat?"
Yeah.
And they say, "Why?" They say, "Why?" to me, and I say, "Well, because you're doing your job. You're not letting me do my job.
Yeah.
You're doing something unsafe, so you don't want my kids to eat.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I'm gonna lose my job if you don't, stop doing that." And they, "Oh no, Bodie, no, it's not like that." I said, "Well, you don't want my kids to eat," and they just laugh. So I make it very personable, break it down.
Just with a bit of intimidation on top.
No
bro.
intimidation.
Proper like that, eh? But we're gonna rewind it back, man. We probably wanna dive down in your childhood and what was life like growing up as a kid?
Yep. Yeah, so grew up in Tauranga, New Zealand. We'll just start right from the start. Grew up, I got 12 brothers and sisters, and one full sister. She's here on the Gold Coast at the moment.
Yeah.
Grew up in a little place called Welcome Bay. My grandfather, my dad's dad, we'll just start back from there. He was an alcoholic and died of alcoholism when he was 30. My dad was 13, and he was the oldest of 12. My dad was. So he got dropped out of school. My old man dropped out of school and then started working on the wharf, with grown men, and then drinking, smoking cigarettes, and working with, these 25-year-olds. And in a sense become the man of the house at 13, looking after his 12 brothers and sisters, and then was introduced to alcohol straight away, so not a good look straight off the bat, and then had his first kid when he was 13, my old man. So he's got 12 kids. He's got 8. He's got 10, and then mum's got 2 others. Yeah, so grew up there. Then, obviously my mum and dad met, had 2 kids, and then I think I was maybe a couple years old. And life at home was just terrible. Picture Once Were Warriors kind of mentality. If you know Once Were Warriors, it was just pretty much the same as that. There's a lot of alcohol around, gangs around, violence, left, right and centre, sexual abuse, left, right and centre. From family members, next door neighbours, gang members, the whole lot. So if you can imagine that, that was pretty much what my childhood was. And then my mum, she took off. She had to. There's no blame or anything like that these days. Mum had to leave, because I don't know, her life might have been on the line. Nobody knows that, but she left when I was a couple of years old, and then one day came back from school, and all my sister's stuff was gone as well, and it was just me and my sister living with my dad and mum, and came back, and we thought someone had stolen her. I think she was probably about 11, maybe 11 turning 12, but we were looking for her for 2 days, filed a missing report and stuff to the police, and then got a phone call that she ran away to my mum's up in Auckland from Tauranga. So pretty much if you rewind it back, and then that was it. After that, it was just me and my dad until I think I was 14. 2 most important women in my life that left me, not by choice. It was they were forced to. So there's childhood trauma there that I still deal with these days. Trust issues, all that kind of stuff, insecurities around women, all that kind of stuff. So that probably has a bigger influence than I think it does. I never realised that, that was a problem till probably only maybe 6-7 years ago.
Wow.
When I thought back to it, and I was like, man, that's probably a big part of why I've always had insecurities around women and that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we carry on after that. They left, and then I was just real violent, man. So, because of everything that was happening, getting bashed, having no food, trying to go into school, trying to fight for food, I just turned into a real aggressive boy. And just everything was answered with violence for me. Someone got cheeky to me or whatever, it was just violence. So I ended up getting suspended, expelled from every school. Then I put this little boy in a coma. Not a little boy, he was probably 17 or 18 when I was, I think I was 14.
Yeah.
And then he went into a coma, and there was, I was getting death threats. So I was getting phone calls from Black Power, getting death threats and stuff. And luckily, mum and stepdad, or my dad had let me go live with my mum and my stepdad when I was 14.
Yeah.
They moved down from Auckland to Tauranga, and then I went over there and moved over there for the year. But I was still getting in trouble. Someone called me gay at school, so I picked up a brick and smashed this guy over the face with a brick and put him in hospital at school when I was 14. And then I was suspended for a couple of weeks. Anyway, nothing was going right, all this stuff, this rage that I had from growing up, two most important women leaving me, and then all the sexual abuse and everything that was going on at home, getting bashed left, right and centre. I was just so angry. So that happened. Anyway, moved over to Australia. Mum and stepdad and 2 little brothers moved to Brisbane. And then I moved over, and then I had an auntie and an uncle that I hadn't met in Gold Coast, Auntie Pam and Uncle Russ, and we went down there, and then he said, do you want to come scaffolding with me, my uncle? And I was like, yep, because I love physicality. And then so I went scaffolding with him for a few months, and then they were like, do you want to stay with us, because my mum and stepdad were still in Brisbane. I said, yeah, sweet. So they let me stay with them, and then they said, do you want to carry on doing the scaffold, or do you want to go back to school? And I said, I'll go back to school.
Scaffolding.
I'll go back to school. So, luckily they lived in Labrador, very hard-working people. And they were pretty much, I've told Auntie plenty of times, but she was if she was probably the first person that ever instilled discipline into my life, and I could tell that they both loved me. It was like good cop, bad cop at their house, because my uncle was like, don't listen to Auntie, she's all right. She loves you, right. But she used to work hard, man. I was just work hard, and he was a hard worker, but he had the love behind him. And that was, get back in your effing room and make your bed. Who do you think you are, leaving this house without making your bed, and that kind of vibes. So it was crazy. I thought I was getting bullied from them, like, in a sense, like I was like, why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? And then always on hindsight, you look back and you're like, fuck, that was the best thing that could have ever happened to me. They were showing me love, but it was hard love. So I went to Kibra Park that year. I'd played rugby, but I always used to get red carded over in New Zealand and stuff. And I was I'd wear a forearm tape, and I'd put a metal plate in it, just try and break people's jaws and stuff when I was
still
younger.
do it now,
And I was pretty much just keen for a fight on the footy field when I'd play over in New Zealand. But my first couple of games, I actually played with my stepdad in New Zealand. He was playing in the Waikor Bay competition in Tauranga, and he'd pick me up every Thursday from my dad's, and I'd go along to training. And I was just so rough and rugged that I could mix and mingle with anyone. And I think I was 13, and I used to go train with these men, and they'd smash me, and I'd run hard and get smashed, and I just used to love it. I'd jump up smiling and play the ball. Anyway, they were short numbers one Saturday, and my stepdad had picked me up, and they were short numbers, and I was in the changing room like this, like, pick me. Like. And then my stepdad was looking at me, and goes, "You want to play?" I said, yeah. So he gave me his headgear, shoulder pads, bloody, you know, they used to wear those torpedo pads, shoulder pads. I think I had every pad on under the sun, and I could just hear my mum screaming out his name when she got to the field because I was on the wing, and I was 13 playing in a Premier men's side on the wing, and I was just loving it, and I'd get smoked and smashed, but I don't know, it's just something I grew up. I was so rough, I loved it. So, and then I guess, when I got to Kibra Park, I fell in love with school again because, I think I'll talk about it when we do our mental health things, but they had such a guy there called Greg Linton, which all trained together. We'd done everything together, and it was so multicultural, all people from different walks of life. There was kids coming from Brisbane on the train, kids that had come over for a better life from New Zealand, so everyone was kind of in the same boat. And you trained hard, man, like everything you'd done together, and it was, a very team environment. Anyway, we got into this team. Wasn't by far the most talented, had no talent whatsoever, but I was just willing to give everything I had. And then, in a sense, I kind of fell in love with rugby, probably because that first year we got so tight, and it probably felt like a family to me, because I hadn't, growing up in a broken family and everything that had gone on, you don't feel what real love is, until later on in life. Now, but that was probably my first feeling. When I look back on it, I probably think, man, I was probably love rugby that much because of how close it brought, the brotherhood and all that kind of stuff brought us together. And then, I just fell in love with league after that. The next year got better, and then, got an opportunity. I had a really good couple of games, the last couple of games. It's funny though, because it's funny how opportunity comes. I was just in the A's team in the first year on the bench, but not coming off at 15, 20 minutes. The next year was the same thing. That first year I was just in the A's, and then the week of the Queensland final, Sam Teo, Ben's Teo brother, he dislocated his shoulder, and I was on the bench, and then I went into the starting second row that next game, and I had 3 good games, and then boom, like 3 good games, and then I had a couple of clubs knocking at my door, like for scholarships for under 20s. If that doesn't happen, or if I'm not ready, training so hard, you just don't know. But I was never like in any of the good rep teams and any like, shining light. I think we had 12 junior Kiwis that year. And, then the next year went on, and then obviously played under 20s and then Titans. Big thing probably I was doing the whole time was drinking. So I was drinking a lot. I think I was 137 kgs or 38 kgs when I was 18. My little brother that we had we'd taken in, he died of cancer when we were 18. I was 18 or 19. And the year after that, I quit drinking. So, and I've drinking just once a year for the last 16 years since he died. But another little spanner in the works. Adversity and stuff, and I don't know. The rest is history after that, really.
Man, that's thanks for coming on here and sharing that. That's crazy, man. Like it's a good testimonial to people out there that are really struggling, like with the traumatic past, first and foremost. You wouldn't wish that upon anyone, and mate, you would have had so many hurdles to overcome. Because like you think about it, like with your traumatic past, you're like finding ways to like, how do I not stuff this up? You know, what was the go-to? Like the strategies, you know. We talk about Kibra, man. You know, I know they're taking a lot of Multi-Pacifica boys, but how did they help you properly to like, you know, manage your, you know, we talk about that aggression, we talk about that, you know.
Well, I guess I'm not sure. Like, there was the thing at Kaea was probably just love. So I felt loved when I was there, and you like nowadays there'll be kids that are going through the same thing. It's sad, but it's the truth. There'll be kids that are going through the same thing, or have been through the same thing. And that's why I share it, just because if there is that one kid out there, it's okay, like, you know, you can
Make a difference.
do whatever you want, if you want to. But probably just that love, you know, like feeling that love. There were some great teachers there that took time. There was a few teachers, and, you know, I was obviously troubled and a bad kid. But at Tauranga Intermediate, I specifically remember this one teacher saying to me, Bodene, you're never going to be anything. And as an 11-year-old, it's like, you know, that hits deep. And my sister remembers him saying that too.
Yeah.
And it's like, ooh, you know, I look back and I think, ooh, should he have said that? But that also probably gives me that little bit of drive as well. So just that love, I guess. Kibra gave me, made me feel loved. And gave me that little push.
Bro, like, there's some valuable concepts that you kind of brought up in that, in what you were talking about. Because obviously we crossed paths, because we're the same age, we crossed paths a few times. And I only picture you as this big, happy, smiley, you know,
Smiling
funny guy, mate. But to see you open up about, you know, your childhood and the things that you've gone through, like, to me, it's like, hits me different, you know, and what you've gone through. And I feel like what you're doing now at the moment, it's amazing to see. And what were the values that you kind of, obviously, your auntie and uncle,
Yeah.
you reckon they played a big part of how you are today?
Yeah, so they were the first step into. They were definitely the first step into instilling like discipline. So that was so hard. Well, I don't know actually. Looking back, because I had no discipline, maybe it was just that was a given.
Yeah.
But it was so foreign to me because I was only answered or with violence. If I had done something wrong, and I was probably only acting out because of the stuff that I'd gone through, and I was just angry. But yeah, they definitely were a big part of instilling the first bit of, you know, discipline into me. And then when we made the the Australian Arrive Alive Cup final 2 years in a row, and we're on TV and stuff, I was scoring tries in these games and stuff, and I was thinking, you know, and then people were saying, oh, you can make a career with this, Bodene, you know. That's when it started to come to light that far out. You know, I am good enough. Maybe I can like play rugby league for a career, because there was only 2 ways I was going, and that was going to be either addicted to alcohol and drugs, or in jail, or in a gang, which will probably 99% of the time end up in jail anyway. So yeah, it was. They were definitely a big thing, because if they didn't come into my life, maybe, you know, I wouldn't have been as disciplined. Like my auntie and uncle, man, they used to say, you can, we'll get you a bike. You can bike to training, bike to and from school, or you can go to get dropped off with uncle, but he leaves at 5 a.m.
Yeah,
you know, and I'd be sleeping on the bench outside the sports hall at Kaea on 5 a.m. some mornings because it was too cold.
Yeah,
It was you know, some mornings it was freezing.
That's hectic.
And go and sleep on the bench for an hour, and then because training always started at 7 o'clock on the field at Kibra, and I'd be down there sleeping on the bench.
Bro, it's crazy you say that because that's still happening today.
Yeah.
You know, like you know, the sacrifices that some of these kids have to make just to get to a school session.
Yeah.
You know, they're doing exactly what you're doing, sleeping
100%.
there like 6. He goes, man, you're here early. He goes, oh, my dad had to drop me off. And he goes, wow.
Yeah.
You know, and I just damn, feel sorry for that kid.
Yeah.
But there's no other way.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. You either go that or bike. And that was my alternative. And I bike most of the time. I love biking. Yeah, it was good.
Bro, you spoke about the Arrival Life Cup. Was that the moment where you kind of went, yeah, it's time to take it to the next level? What were the sacrifices that you made from there on?
Nah, I don't think it was. Because after that, I was drinking excessively. You know, I got heavier. When I left school, I was 135 the year after. But that's when I knew that, there is I can do something with footy.
Yeah.
It was a moment of that, and then they were signed for 20s and stuff. But that was definitely a moment that made me think that I was good enough to do something.
Yeah.
And then I played 20s the next year. But I was still dealing with, I still had anger issues. Titans put me through anger management. The time that when I first met Eddie, my parents, my stepdad and mum met Eddie, and we were down in, was it Coffs Harbour?
Coffs Harbour, yeah.
We were at Coffs Harbour, and what was the comp called? It was the national schoolboys. So I made the Queensland side. Eddie was in the New South Wales
CHS, I think.
CHS. And I was still dealing with issues.
Yeah.
I dealt with anger issues and all these issues still till I was probably 25, 26, I reckon. Because I got in a fight in that camp. Me and Josh Maguire had a fight and over a ping pong match because he called me. He said to me, "At least I don't have to repeat to make this team," and I just moored him.
Yeah.
After that, and I was still going through. That's just a instance that I was still dealing with these. I couldn't anything happened. I just had to deal with it with violence because I didn't know how to. I didn't have any coping strategies.
Yeah.
Then but yeah, same thing when I met you. That was you were a smiling assassin too. This guy had a broken thumb when we were playing.
Yeah.
He played the whole comp with a broken thumb and a big cast on his thumb.
And he's using it as his swinging arm. Hey,
Oh,
bro.
bro, my dad was trying to massage it. So that is broken.
But yeah, I guess the moment that I guess it was like, okay, now's the time. Few things happened. My little brother Jordan used to tell me I used to be sneaking out when I was 18, 19 and going out drinking and partying and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And Jordan would say, "Bo, you've got to stop going out, man. You need to be getting up and going, like getting ready and going to training, not going out and partying," because I'd be partying 4 nights a week.
Yeah.
Tuesday, Thursday, and then Saturday or Friday and Saturday, and then Sunday sesh as well. Like, it was crazy. And Jordan was always, my little brother Geordie was just a goody two shoes, right? And he was always sleeping, was good at school and everything, and he was always saying, "Bo, stop going out, man," because he could probably see the potential for rugby. And then Laurie, my little brother that we had whāngai, before he died, he said to me, like, you got to start taking footy serious, bro. Stop drinking, stop going out, like, and had a few harsh words to me. And when he died, I remember it was, I don't know, 30 people in the room in the hospital at Southport, and my mum, my stepdad, everyone was crying, and I was the only one that wasn't. And it was one of those moments, like, I guess everyone kind of turned to me in that moment. or in those big moments when, you know, things get tough or whatever. And I kind of realised that, I think I'm the guy that everyone turns to in those tough times. And I was like, okay, well, that's a responsibility that I'm going to have to live up to and be that guy, you know. And I've kind of always, ever since then, I've always kind of tried to be that for my family. I did cry when I was lowering him down though. I would lie if I said I didn't. But yeah, I guess after that, I said, right, I'm not drinking this year. Laurie sacrificed his life, my little brother, and I was like, right, I'm not drinking this year. See what I can do. And then literally that year, I was playing Queensland Cup, and then John Cartwright said, we'll give you a 3-month trial for Titans in the preseason and see how you go. It was 130 something. Big prop, could only play 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then Billy Johnson got hold of me.
The Billy Johnson.
I still remember him
On the
whispering.
rower.
I still remember him whispering in my ear on the rower. Give up, you fat beep. But yeah, and then I kind of just carried it on, not drinking, and then but I was very lost. My first 5 years, 6 years of NRL, I was still lost in denial. You know, not hadn't dealt with any of my family or traumas. Nobody knew. Everything was closed in. There wasn't an open culture about talking about it. You know, nothing was in place. There wasn't no safe space or anything like that. There was only one guy who really knew about it, and that was my brother-in-law, Renius, that I felt comfortable talking to about. So yeah, that's why it's so important to touch on these kind of subjects and whatnot.
Have you gone down that path of facing it? You know, facing those like that past, and obviously, you know, you got your brother that passed away and all that kind of stuff. Like, I know you could use that as motivation, but sometimes that's not enough. I feel like, have you ever faced the problems in the past? Because I feel like sometimes when you go through these traumatic problems, there's still some stuff that you need to probably face. Is that true?
Yeah, for sure. Constantly, still to this day, you know, still to this day, I face problems from childhood trauma. Still have the insecurities and doubts and stuff around, you know, my mum and my sister leaving, I think. And subconsciously, I just think I can say, I recognise it. Subconsciously, I probably just do things and without even realising that, it's just a response. Another thing Kaea raised to me, my whole life I've slept with the TV on or some sort of noise on. And she done some bit of research on it, and she was saying that people who sleep with with background noise on, or I can't fall asleep unless there's some sort of noise or I can hear someone talking, and it's a abandonment trigger. So I have to feel like someone's in the room when I fall asleep. So noise and talking and stuff like that, I have to feel like someone's around because it's an abandonment issue that I haven't dealt with. And she done a bit of research into it and told me about it, and I was like, flip. I've never thought about it. All I've thought is that I just need the TV to sleep. I'll turn the TV on and then go boom and crash out. And then she's like, you know, there's huge scientific things, studies done behind it being abandonment issues. And I'm like, flip. That makes a lot of sense to me, you know, because, you know, so I still deal with still see a counsellor. You've seen
Yep.
counsellors, you know, once every
Yep.
month or a couple of months,
Cool.
to deal with your own stuff and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because you know, it's good to try and have open and honest talks with your friends when you can.
Yeah.
So as we're doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the biggest motivation for you? Because obviously you go on to play so many games, man. Like your debut in Gold Coast, you go on to play like over 300 games, man. What was the journey like through that period? Especially you going through all that, because obviously we played at the Tigers together.
Yeah.
Always seen you as that guy who was always prepped. You had your meal plans. You were a hard worker. You trained hard. You were shredded too at that time. You went 135.
Motivation. Oh, there was heaps, man. There was heaps of motivations, but without me knowing it. Nieces and nephews, just knowing that, you know, once I got hold of, after high school, once I got hold of that thought that, oh, maybe I could do something in this space, I had nothing else.
Yeah.
Like, you got to remember that I couldn't read or write
Yeah.
when I was 10, 11.
Yeah.
So I had nothing. And then I was like, oh, there's this possibility at school that, man, you might be able to play rugby for a profession. And it was like this tiny little light at the end of a tunnel. The tunnel was so big, and I think that's why I just honed in on it, because it was either, like I said, it was either going to be in jail, gangs, violence, and that kind of thing, because nothing else was kind of going, you know. You know, and when you see that little light at the end of the tunnel, if you've got nothing else and that's all you've got, I think that's when the penny dropped. I was just all in, and you probably seen it at Tigers, because that was, you know, I was 5 years at the Titans, and then I got offered to go down there, and it was a do or die situation for me. Like, I had contract to stay up at Titans, but I wanted a challenge. I had a exact same money around my family and everything else, but I was like, nah, I need to get out of my comfort zone and challenge myself. And that's why I moved to Sydney. But yeah, I guess the motivation was just I had nothing else, Eddie. I guess, in a sense, like, yeah, the old cliche say about footy probably did save my life.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
How's
He's earning that, like, hey?
Yeah. How was the difference? Like how was the transition then? Like you wanted to challenge yourself, wanted to get away from your family. Did you know anyone down in Sydney?
No.
No.
Didn't know anybody. I knew distant auntie and uncle who lived out in Campbelltown, Uncle Cat and Uncle Das, and then Stan Walker.
Yep.
So when they had moved over from New Zealand, they were living with us in the Gold Coast at the start, and then he had obviously signed a 5-year deal with Sony, so he was in Sydney for 5 years. So those are the kind of only two people that I really knew. And Dills came down and lived with me.
Got all Dills.
Bill and Taikere. So those are the kind of only people who moved down. It was funny, me and Eddie both signed for, not funny, but me and Eddie both signed for West Tigers, and then moved. My brother Renius and sister, we drove down through the night, got there, unpacked the house, and then that week, and then found out, coach has been sacked.
Who's the coach?
Tim Sheens.
Tim Sheens.
Timmy.
Signed me and Eddie, and then Eddie was at Souths, and then I was at Titans, and then we went down, and so
everything changed for me.
That was another curveball thrown in the
Who was the new coach?
Big Potter.
Michael Potter. It was funny, the first meeting I had with him. I don't think he knew, or he was trying to play mind games with me. I'm not sure, but I dislocated my shoulder and had a full Latarjet reconstruction of my right shoulder. And he was saying he had these papers, all these paper looking at the stats and stuff, and he goes, you won't play for me this year. He said, yeah, I don't see, your stats and that. He kind of just sprayed me out, really. And I just said to him, okay, we'll see. And he said, what's that? And I said, we'll see. And he just kind of awkward silence, didn't say anything, just looking at me. And and I walked out of there thinking, you fucking prick. And then I was just I was like in my head, and I was angry. But then again, once again, probably motivated. Because I was like, F you. And I was so angry with rage at him. But I was like, F you, I'm going to show you. But I don't know. Maybe he was playing mind games, or maybe he was serious. I'm not sure. I'll have to ask him the next time I see him. He probably doesn't remember because he's probably had 30,000 of those meetings with players, eh?
Bloody hell, the old school coaches, man. You think about to stories like that, just go, bruh, come on, man.
And then fast forward 12 months though. I remember distinctly, like me being, I had this pocket of fluid under my bursa, my right knee, and he said, you won't play any games. Anyway, I played every game and ended up making the Kiwi squad at the end of the year. and I distinctly put me into the leadership group, and then he was saying, mate, you don't need to do any training this week, you can just play the game. And it was like far out. Context of like the start of preseason to here is like crazy, but anyway.
He'll go with it. Nah, I meant to. I meant to do that.
Yeah.
I meant to do it. He'll go with that.
But I think that's all the hard work and all the commitment that you made throughout that year. I remember seeing you. You were thriving, man. I think for me back then, mentally it broke me because I've never been in a position like that. But the CB, even Blairy, like going at it together and killing it, man. You guys done well, man. So you should be proud of yourself.
Me and Eddie were fitness partners. You go, I go on Broncos.
Oh, mate.
Is there a reason why you picked Eddie, or did Eddie pick you?
Eddie picked me.
Oh, mate. I used to jump on his back.
Oh, man.
Bro, we go into transition, man.
Yeah.
You transitioned into work. How was the transition, man? You went from England. So like we spoke about in the last podcast, sometimes coming from England to Australia, there's like, you have to start again because there's no contacts.
Yeah.
Well, not no contacts, but you're not connected as much as you are when you're here.
Yeah.
How was the transition then?
Yeah, so it was a bit challenging because I still had a couple of years left on my contract at Bradford, and Bradford wanted to sign me for longer as well. Brian Noble, Nobby. Shout out Nobby, he's the man.
One of the greats.
Yep. So he was trying to do everything possible to get me to stay. And, I love the club, and I wanted to stay, but it just got to a point where, there was too many kids. I was going to training with a couple of hours sleep, 3-4 hours sleep, and Kaea was looking after the kids with 2 hours sleep. Some nights, no family support. Although my sister, mum, and niece all gave up their jobs and flew over. My mum left her job and flew over for 8 weeks in COVID to help out. My sister and my niece quit her job and spent her own money and came over and stayed. She was 18 and stayed for 3 months to look after our youngest on her own accord. I don't know. She's just my niece Skylar. She's amazing, and my sister as well. Worked from a desk in the lounge room for my mum's company for 2 months to help out with the kids. So those are my family are keeping that alive, and then it just ended up getting too much, and Kaea and the kids had to go home, and then I followed a few months after. But got reached out to. It's funny because in footy you just never know. So there's two guys I was playing footy with in Queensland Cup when I was 19, Jimmy Anderson and Murray Emerson. They're now, Jimmy Anderson's the National Health and Safety Advisor, National Health and Safety Manager of the whole of Australia for Hutchinson Builders.
Wow.
Murray Emerson is the team leader of the whole of Coolangatta Tweed team. So he's probably got 150 staff underneath him, project managers, construction managers, site team, the whole thing falls underneath Murray.
Yeah.
And then Murray only answers to this guy Russell Fryer, and Russell Fryer is underneath Scott Hutchison, which is the owner.
Yep.
So, spoke to Jimmy earlier on the year before.
Yeah.
And had a talk to him. And he said, hey, just when you're thinking about retiring, get in contact because I think there'll be a job here for you.
How good's that?
So good.
And I'm not sure, how you go about meeting people, but same thing. I rung. You remember Chris Lawrence and Leon? Leon?
Yeah.
Is it Leon? So I rung Leon because I was doing some PTing. Chris Lawrence and Leon, they run a training?
Training, yeah.
They run a training program in
One
Sydney.
Wellbeing.
Yeah, One Wellbeing. And I rang him to get my certificate because I was doing some boxing training over in teaching people boxing over in England. And I rang him and he said, when are you coming back? And I said, probably next year or the year after. He said, well, get in contact because you're a great person and I think there'll be a job there for you up in Queensland. So I guess just connections, like what you guys said, like just knowing people and then getting in contact. I didn't end up going down that route or getting in contact with Leon because Hutchies came on board, but I guess that's just how it came. And then when I got here, when he had a meeting, I think I was here for 2 weeks. When he had a meeting with them and they said, hey, this is what it is. So I was nervous, man. Like you've been playing footy for 15 years and you're going in. I had a job, but they just wanted a meeting. So I went in and they said, right, you worked in construction? Never. Well, scaffolding when I was 15. And they said, okay, well, this is how it's going to work. It's, a 2-year plan to get you into this position. If things, progress, it might be faster, it might be slower, you never know. If you don't want to do it, if you just want to work, if you don't want to go down any kind of paths, if you just decide it's not for you in a couple of months and it's too hard or whatever, they were sweet. They said, we can do whatever you want it to do.
Cool.
Within the business.
That's mad.
And then, so sweet, he said, you're going to start we'll start putting you through your tickets and we'll start you off just on the site as a labourer to start with. So first 3 months I was doing that and I was just doing ticket after ticket after ticket after ticket after ticket, learning all the safety compliances within each different ticket. And it was sweet. I loved it. Team environment, everyone's around. I was, getting the boys, all the boys. All right, boys. We start at 6:30. Right, we're all meeting at 5. Come on, who's coming? Let's go. We're meeting down the beach at 5 and training. So we're doing that 3 times a week. And then after 3 months, I don't know. They just went, right. We think you're ready. Feedback must have got back, and it just went boom. Threw me in. So then I started going into the office with the safety advisor, Chris Fineco, and I started shadowing him for about maybe 6 to 8 weeks. Yeah. And then an opportunity come up within the business. So an opportunity come up, and then my safety manager just said, "Oh, Bo, the opportunity's come for you to fulfill that role." And I was like, "What? 4 months, man? 4 months."
That's mad.
And they had a 2-year plan, and then I was, and I was stressing a bit. I called him up and I said, I'm not sure if I'm, ready. Yeah. And then he convinced me that it'll be all right. And then I rang my brother, Renius. I told him, and he was like, "Just do it, Bo. Just do it. Throw yourself in the deep end. Just do it, bro. Just do it. You'll be sweet." And then I done it, and the first couple of weeks, man, I was way out of my water. But I just caught up to the program was like this and everything, and I was just coming behind it, way behind it, and then eventually I caught up to it, and now still going, but it's been good, man. It's challenging. There's a lot of stuff that I still don't know, and it'll take years to figure it out. It'll probably take 6 years before you figure out. You got to learn the regulations, the act, and the code of practice for everything. There's a lot.
Well, that shows all the traits. Like from obviously when your brother passed away, the family looked at you and said, "Bro, he's a leader."
Yeah.
And you're the leader, bro. And then like for you to get to where you are now, man, like we're proud of you, bro.
Yeah.
Like hearing your story and seeing you share that with us, man. It's amazing.
It's the one thing that I liked, because I remember we had a couple of chats before you had that meeting as well, and like once you got into that job, I was hearing like, you know, those boys that you mentioned, they're quite popular around that Burleigh area. They said that like, man, Bodene's taking that opportunity and taking it, like getting those boys down at 5 o'clock. Remember you telling me that story about like how what's the snack people, they come in, they started bringing their own food to work instead of buying the snacks off the truck.
Oh yeah,
saying that like Bodene's just fully just changed the culture
Yeah,
at
it's
Hutchies.
they have vending machines at the Hutchies,
Yeah.
and the guy would come in and bring the vending machines,
Yeah.
and I'm always going, bro, where's all the protein shakes and the protein bars?
Yeah,
Like, you know, and then they started bringing them in now, and every site that I've gone to, now there's protein shakes, there's, you know, non-sugar drinks,
100%.
because it was all just like sugar and, you know, just kind of bad food, and now there's, well, I always just pump the guys when he comes in, because he'll come in every once or twice a week to change over. I said, bro, where's all the protein bars and protein? Just bring chocolate bars and that. You know, healthy culture. Because if they work out in the morning, you're more inclined to grab. Oh, I've done a workout this morning.
Yeah,
protein.
100%.
When you think about it.
Did some of those boys like? Have they been consistent with it? Like
Yeah.
Just
So I rang Drew, this guy Drew Mason. He was on a job before, so I rang him at 6 o'clock. I was driving down to Moolumbar, and he's actually starting as a skilled labourer on Moolumbar next week.
Yeah.
And I rang him. I said, brother, what's happening? And he was like, and I was like, where are you? And he was like, oh, I'm in my mate's gym at Coolangatta. Before work, and he's just finishing a workout.
Yeah.
He's never worked out in his life.
Yeah, true.
Never, like, you know, and he's a surfer, so he just surfs all the time. And he was pumping, and he was like, yeah, bro, like, I'm getting ready for me link up next week. So, yeah, it's good, man.
Planting the seed, boy.
100%.
It's good, bro.
The good thing, so you have to have a performance review every year, and I caught up with Murray Emerson, and we had a good chat. He asked me how's it going and that, and he said from all accounts, we think that we'll probably lose me to the national team. So potentially start to deliver some programs in the mental health / community side of the business. There's a guy called Mark Cucks who works nationally all around of Australia in the community.
That's mad.
Doing that kind of stuff. So that'll be good once I get into that role. So that's just, you know, that's my passion is doing that kind of stuff and helping out people on that level. So
because you were doing it in England for a little bit, eh?
Yeah, I was doing Robbie Hunter Paul.
Yep.
He was my mentor over there, and we're doing it, delivering those kind of these kind of talks, and you know, delving into spaces where it's not so talked about.
It's needed, eh?
Yeah, and the other thing is like what we do when we're delivering and going around Australia and that. I wish that when I was going through what I was going through when I was 10, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, in that little country town, I wish that, I don't know if it might have not made a difference, or it might have made a difference, I'm not sure, but I wish someone had come, or All Black had come to town, someone had come to town and said, look guys, this is what I've been through. These are real life struggles. I'm now here. If you want to, you know, in a lighter sense, spoke on what they've gone through, and you know, it's not just the flashy guy that makes all the rep teams can play NRL or be an All Black. It's if you've been through stuff, you can still do whatever you wanted to do, and that's the message that I I like to get out.
Yeah.
That, you know, if you're going through tough times, it's that one kid in the room that's having a bad time. That's the one that I want to talk to.
Yeah. Bro, and that's why we got this easy chat, bro, because
Yeah.
this is where you share your story, and I know a lot of our audience will be looking forward to listening to your story, man, and really appreciate your time. But before we end it here, is there a key message you want to share? I know you just shared that one, but is there?
That was a good key message.
I know, I like that message.
We need another one.
Key message they can share with our audience.
A key message. Just it's don't know about key messages. There's a lot in what I talk about, but perseverance, knowing that you're enough, but just not leaving any stone unturned. Keep turning up. I tell my brothers all the time, just get up, bro. Every morning, got to get up.
Yeah.
Get up, get after it, get up, get after it, get up, get after it. And just being consistent, just get up, get after it, keep turning up, keep showing up.
Yeah.
Never be that guy that's, he didn't rock up. Just keep showing up, keep showing up, keep showing up. Keep knocking at the door. Yeah, I'm here.
Nah, that's mad,
That's
bro.
mad.
I love that, man, because sometimes you want to sleep in and
Yeah.
get up,
Get
bro.
up, man. Hey.
That's good, man.
It's a good key message. I know, like, just a fun fact about you. Like, I know your wife's pretty on the scene with the dancing. My daughter's such a big fan, right? So she's doing what's she up to, like, now? Like, I know, like, just quick one on that one.
Yeah, so she's been dancing at these dance conventions the last couple of weeks. She done a few months ago, she done a big gig with Coca-Cola. Tones and I, she choreographed a music video clip for Tones and I. She was the choreographer. And she just flies around, bro, doing dance gigs, and she's like a freelance choreographer / dancer. So she'll be going over to Europe again soon, in the next month and a half, I think it is. But yeah, she just does gigs, bro. Just flies around doing gigs and juggling the kids. She's amazing, bro. She's a superwoman. If you know my kids, bro, they're absolutely crazy. If you haven't picked it up, I've got ADD or ADHD. Not being diagnosed, but a few months ago, or probably a couple of years ago, my mum and my sister were talking something, and they said, "Yeah, like Bodene's ADD," and I said, "What? Who's got ADD?" And I said, "I haven't got ADD, I'm ADHD." And they just saw my mum, my sister, and my missus. They all just started laughing at me in the kitchen. Do I have ADD? And then I can never relax. When I'm home, I'm like, right, what are we doing? Are we going to movie world or going to the beach? Or, okay, I'm going to the gym first before we go to the gym. So I can never stop and slow down. I'm always on the go. But yeah, my kids are like the same, bro. They're just full on. My daughter's just touching everything. all these glass, everything. Nothing will be safe here, bro. They just touch everything. And they can't keep still.
I heard you give tips to your missus with your dance moves.
Oh.
Bit of that booty shake.
Nah, cool, man.
Nah, that's awesome.
Nah, I thought it'd be important to share that, because I know, like, there's always a special one there in your corner all the time.
100%, man. 100%.
Nice, that was a good one, man. Let's close it
bro.
out, man. Like, hey, bro, appreciate your time.
Thanks,
I
B.
reckon this is going to be a really good one, man, for our listeners out there. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. What are we up to, Eddie? YouTube? How many followers you got?
Spotify. We need to reach 1,000.
Come on. Let's go. Keep liking, keep sharing, keep commenting. Shout out to all our sponsors, SMSF Learning Centre. There's a lot of newbie blanks. Talent Locker.
Talent Locker, they're still in there.
Still in there.
Appreciate it, guys.
Appreciate
Thank you.
it. Cheers. Let's go.
Thanks,
Shot, bro.